All right, here we go. And here we are. Welcome everybody to Monday Musings with my Stoso. I'm joining with me tonight by my co-host Brandon,
Yeah.
and today we are joined by a special musical guest, Eric the Taylor. Welcome everybody to the show, and welcome Brandon and Eric. So Eric and I met, I'm going to say maybe around 2015, and he had just released an album called Lilium's Ocean by the project name The Fragile Fate. And I remember it was a Facebook group or something that he and I were both members of, and I remember really getting kind of attached to that album. I probably listened to it about 2 or 3 times over that. But rather than me talk about Mr. Taylor himself, I want to give him a moment to introduce himself and tell us a little bit about what you got going on, Mr. Taylor.
Hey Keith, hi Brandon.
How's it going?
Hey dude. So,
Uh-oh, a little bit of a breakup
Eric
there.
Taylor. Oh, are we there?
It
Yeah,
fixed itself.
we're
Go
good.
ahead.
Okay. The Taylor. I'm in upstate New York. I'm in Rochester, New York. Born and raised. This last month for me has been absolutely insane, but I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
I began as a drummer in a progressive rock band here in the region, and we had signed to a label in Los Angeles. And I began to experiment with electronic drums, and those began to lead in the directions of melody lines and so forth. And I found myself being able to play musical leads. And, long story short, I went into electronic music, I think, through the use of electronic drums. As the drum became more than just a drum, a
Right.
source of any sort of sampled sound, I began to construct full-on ensembles and so forth. And
Gotcha.
I kind of graduated from playing drums and have become a synthesist. But that took 20 years, that transition.
Gotcha.
Roughly, give or take a few thousand days. I don't know. But,
Right.
So, skip ahead to, I don't know, 2014, and I started to shop some of my music, and I landed a couple of small boutique labels, small independent labels, but high quality, the stuff that, like, the label itself has a following, just because the listener and or the purchaser knows that if it's coming off of this label, that it's of that high standard of quality. And I somehow found a compilation for
Having a bit of breakup on your side,
Records.
Eric.
Familiar with them, Keith? Carpe Sonum. Let me know if you can hear me.
Yeah, that's back in now. Go right ahead.
I don't know where I was, but so
The label.
Around 2014, I think I found myself on Carpe Sonum Records.
Gotcha.
Initially on a collection CD for a tribute to Pete Namlook.
Mhm.
was the first time I appeared with Jerry Marotta, who is a drummer. Best known for his years with Peter Gabriel, but he's a session great, and he's played with everybody. So that's 2/3 of the Fragile Fate. And then soon after, Rupert Greeno, who was the synthesist for the Fix, he joined us, and the Fragile Fate was born sometime around 2014, and we spent a year on and off recording the album. Fix would often be on the road. Jerry would often be in the studio, but when we could, we would get together in Woodstock, New York, and work on that record. Lillian at the time was my wife. And she often complained that I wasn't very romantic, so I put together this record of songs for her.
Gotcha.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it was dropping out a little bit here and there, but it seems to be coming over okay now. How about for you, Brandon?
Yeah,
or more,
I got it.
More importantly, for everybody else.
Okay, they're not missing much. So Lily Emotion was a record to my wife at the time, she always complained about much of fate for her, and she divorced me within a month, I think, of the album's release. But I have a new family now. I'd like to actually introduce you guys to.
Sure.
Benty, can I see you for me? So I told you in the beginning, this past month has been crazy for me.
Yeah.
I had a baby.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
And I'm going to introduce you guys now. Come around here, honey, for me. Come right here. This is my wife, Benty.
Hi, Benty.
Nice to meet you.
And this is Sophia.
Sophia, well, congratulations, Eric. Yeah.
And Sophia's just about a month old.
Wow. So the craziness that we had in scheduling was probably okay.
Yeah.
Because you had just had a kid.
Yeah, the baby came a week early, the 25th of October. And so it's been a whirlwind. So
right.
We've moved because we went from an apartment to our first home, and I just needed the space. So my studio, I'm still unpacking.
Right.
Kind of finding where everything fits. Still looking for outlets on the walls for some of this stuff. But I'm getting there.
Right.
It's been a crazy month. Absolutely insane.
Well, man, I really appreciate you in all that craziness. That was kind of a surprise. I don't think you told me about that. So
I had not.
Wow.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, Eric, with that said, why don't we go ahead and we'll cue up some music and play one of the tracks that you've contributed on for let's do one from your latest album, or maybe we should do the Fragile Fate track we have selected. Let's do that, and then we'll progress into the some of the newer stuff that you've done. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to play a track from the Fragile Fate album, Lillian's Ocean, and this track is called Road Over. We're going to give that a play, and Brandon, Eric, and I will be back momentarily. All right, guys, we are muted from the stream.
All right. Give me 1 second.
Wow, Eric, congratulations, man.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I'll let you know.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
So when we come back, I want to talk about that track a little bit.
This track?
Yeah, rolled over. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I want to push the whole Robert Rich thing.
You bet. No problem, buddy. Well, like I said, this show is for you, so you take as much time as you want. And I'm monitoring out of one ear the song to kind of key in for when it ends so we can switch back. So if I don't hear you, repeat it and then say it louder. And then tell Brandon to say, "Hey, Keith, say it louder."
Oh, no, I can hear you guys. Just when we drop out, I have no idea.
Yeah, I was trying to monitor for it. I didn't. You know what? Just like now, it was fine right before the show, and it's like the minute we went live, it was kind of dropping out. Really weird.
So Keith, are you a software synth guy?
Yeah, I used to have 3 or 4 physical boards years ago, and half of them kind of broke down on me, and just before I got married and stuff, and when I got back into creating music, I just didn't have the funds to get all physical hardware again, so I kind of moved into more of a virtual synth realm. I've got a couple of controllers here, right? But mostly everything's virtual. I've got a Roland sound module that's been sitting in a corner for 3 years collecting dust that I still haven't hooked up. I just, just haven't had the need to. But eventually I am looking at getting some more physical hardware when I have the time to really be experimental like I want to be.
I think you can do all that with software. I don't know.
You can, yeah, but it's getting the controller mapped out, and and there's nothing like that sound from which is crazy, right? But you probably know as well as I do that sound that you get from physical hardware has a deeper, richer sound.
Well, honestly, it's really best to have a little bit of both worlds combined.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, those software synthesizers, they really a powerhouse. Like, they can do something much, and of course, vice versa.
Yeah. So I'm actually working on a film score. I'm not announcing this publicly until I'm done, but it's really, really hybrid orchestra type stuff that's going on, and it's really hard to do that without sound libraries these days. But
yeah, I wouldn't want to do it without a sound library.
But yeah, if you stick around, Eric, I'll play a couple of more of the recent stuff that's got kind of that hybrid orchestra sound that you would hear. We'll play that probably near the end. And don't let me. So, one of the things that we're gonna do, Brandon, is Eric's gonna give a.
My question is,
Go ahead.
I mean, what's your go-to for software synths?
Oh, I'm totally using Complete Control right now, mostly. The Ultimate package. So I use a lot from... Oh, hang on a minute. I think this song's coming to an end, guys. We may have to carry that conversation. Or we can talk about it on the show, of course. But you're going to talk about your song first. 1 second here. This is about to come back. I think it's ending. Yeah, here we go, guys. Here we go. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. As you can see, it was really chill. I really liked it. Can you tell us a little bit more about that that track specifically, Eric?
Sure, Keith. What's interesting about that piece is we're joined by Robert Rich on piano for that.
Nice.
Robert Rich was heavily involved with the Lily Emotion release by the Fragile Fate. And we will be approaching him again for the follow-up.
Very nice. Very nice. So during the break, guys, we were
and we will be
or
approaching
not
him
during the
again
break,
for
while the song was playing. We were trying to figure out what was going wrong with the audio from earlier. And so you'll have to bear with us on that. But of course, while that song was playing and we were all talking about the problems that we were having no problems. So if it starts glitching on you again, apologies about that. So that was the Fragile Fate album, Lily Emotion. And then more recently, you've done some work on a project called, and I'm going to get it right this time, Futuregrapher.
Yes.
And the album is Effects of Clouds. Before we jump to one of those tracks, Eric, is there something you can give us a little bit of insight on what this endeavor is all about?
Well, this is interesting. It came about not that long ago. Futuregrapher, this guy works fast.
Mm-hmm.
He initially approached me in regards to another project I have called Architects of Existence with Mick Chillage.
Yes.
Arnie has a label. Arnie is he's from Iceland and he's doing very well there actually. And he has an electronic label called Mahler Records.
Okay.
So this is an Icelandic release. In fact, it's available on vinyl. Effects of Clouds is available on vinyl.
Nice.
As well as a digital download, which I want to give some digital downloads of this away. Don't let me forget.
Absolutely. Definitely. We'll make sure we get that done.
But he approached me about Architects of Existence. And at the time, Mick Chillage was extremely busy and just couldn't make that release happen. So I just said, I've got a fairly large body of work. Do you think maybe you and I, Futuregrapher, perhaps we could, do a little something? And he liked the work. I think I sent him
We lost you, buddy.
10 songs, and then let me know.
Yep, I think we're back.
We're
You
good.
said 10 songs.
Yeah, okay, so I sent him about 10 songs, but to fit vinyl, he cut it down to about 7, and he splashed his work about the songs. Futuregrapher is an tremendous talent.
Mhm.
And this has been a very, very fun project for me, and I'm really happy with it. So if you want to give it a spin, Keith, for us, that'd be great.
Yeah, in fact, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play, I believe this is actually the first track on the album called Stars Come Down. I know it's definitely one that I really like. Yeah, we'll give that a spin, guys, and Brandon, Eric, and I will be back right after this. All right, gentlemen, that one is going. We are muted from the stream.
Okay, I get nervous.
Oh, dude, it's fine. Don't be nervous.
Keith, now, like right now, what are they viewing? Are they seeing you like it's in the studio?
Yeah, in fact, so what they're seeing is they see the I've got a top and lower third border that goes on, and there's some animated space type stuff going on in the background. And then on one side, it's basically the camera on me. And then the other side, it's a capture of the Zoom meeting where it's showing you and Brandon. In fact, if you've got it on your iPad, right? Let me see.
No, I'm not using my iPad right now.
Okay. But obviously, once it's done, you can go back and see them. But so I'm using a product called Restream, which allows me to stream to multiple platforms at the same time.
Yeah, cool.
And also monitor the chat coming in from all of those platforms. So we had, at one point, I believe we had about, let me go look at the dashboard again.
No, don't tell me.
Okay.
Tell me after the show. I get too nervous.
Okay. Don't worry about it. But my audience is not that huge, so but there's a few people watching, I'll put it that way.
So will this after the show will it be put up on YouTube, is it? You put it up on YouTube?
Yeah, it'll be saved out on YouTube. It's streaming live on YouTube right now. And it'll be available there on my channel for watch later. Now, if there's a platform you want me to take it down from, I have no problem with that either.
No, why would I want that?
I don't know. Some people do, you know.
That's just making life difficult.
I know. I agree. And so here's the interesting thing. And speaking of YouTube specifically, right? There are a lot of people that are complaining about YouTube being one of the lowest payouts. And I'm going to here to tell you that is entirely not true. If you've got your music on Spotify, you're getting paid just about the equal amount of time if your music is on YouTube. So
it's like $30 for every 30,000 plays.
Yeah, it's still a lot of plays, right? But that's why I always have, you know, depending on who's publishing. Oh, hold on, make sure the song isn't ending. Depending on who you've got distributing it, right? I go through CD Baby and they push it out to YouTube Music. So YouTube automatically creates an album art video, right?
Yeah.
And it shows up as a topic under that band's name or whatever. But I always additionally create my own album art video and release it under my channel. So that way it kind of hopefully brings people, you know, more to my channel for all the other content. But I've seen it, you know, roughly, you know, if somebody goes and watches one of those album art videos, I'm getting paid roughly about the same rate as I would on Spotify. So it's just the way the world is these days. You know.
Well, you know, I've had a very good year. It doesn't necessarily mean that the checks are flying in my mailbox.
Right.
You know, and I know you had a really good year. What was it, 2016 with Highways?
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you're buying your second home.
No, not at all. In fact, guys, the song is over. I'm going to switch us back to live, okay?
Yeah.
All right. That is a very, very, very awesome song in my opinion. I really like that one. It's good stuff, Eric.
Thank you.
So we're definitely going to play another couple of Eric's tracks from that album here in just a bit. But so if I remember correctly, before we went to that song, Eric, you had just completed this one with Futuregrapher, and you're doing a follow-up for the Fragile Fate. Is that correct?
Yeah. The Fragile Fate is it's left being a project, and we're a band,
right?
But there are contingencies. Like I mentioned, you know, Rupert is the synthesis for the fix, and Jerry is a very busy session player. So it's when we can get together.
Right. Gotcha.
It's a band, and in fact, I was talking to him today. about when we're going to get together, and it might be just around Christmas that we're going to be heading down to Woodstock to continue with the follow-up. I mean, it's funny. I don't know how many hours of material that we've recorded. So it's really just choosing what we want to release at this point and mixing to some degree. So we're done with the tracking process pretty much.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Fragile Fate is probably one of my priority I don't want to use the word projects, but
I understand.
It's a priority for me. But you know, in the next year, in 2019, I've got 4 or 5 different records coming out.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I'm real busy. In fact, my first solo CD is coming out on Carpe Sonum Records, and it looks like it might be a double.
Oh wow. Okay.
I had written 118 tracks, and I had been able to whittle it down to about 35 pieces, and then I sent them to Dave at Carpe Sonum and said, I can't listen to these anymore.
Right.
But I think there's a really good record here, and we both have unofficially agreed that it's looking like it's going to be a double CD release. So I'm very excited about that, because I've always hidden myself behind projects, whether it's with Architects of Existence with Mick Chillage, or this really cool project I got called Resilience with Simon Matthews. Do you know Simon Matthews?
I can't say it's ringing any bells.
Okay, yeah, this cat is just great. Also on Carpe Sonum Records. So yeah, I got a real big year coming up, and I'll be doing some more work with Mahler Records with Arnie Futuregrapher. We're going to continue doing some more work there. So that reminds me, Keith, can I do a giveaway?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely.
So I want to do some digital downloads for the Effects of Clouds release with Futuregrapher. If people would simply just hit me up in Messenger, I'd like to give them some. We've got some Bandcamp download codes, please. So hit me up in Messenger, and I'm going to be giving away some Effects of Clouds tonight.
Yeah, in fact, I'm going to tag you in Facebook Messenger here.
Great.
So that people have it. Oh my goodness, why can't I do it? Oh, it's coming from my music page. That's why. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste in your Facebook page URL, Eric, that we talked about, and make sure that people can contact you through there.
Great.
That way they can get the code. So is make sure everybody gets that. Oh, I got to do Facebook separately. So we got that out there, and that way people can reach out to you and definitely get a few of those codes. That's an awesome way to get that out there. And I can tell you guys, I've listened to probably at least all the way through this one, Effects of Clouds, over the past couple of days, and I'm really digging it myself.
It came together real quick, Keith. I mean, I'm telling you, this Futuregrapher, this guy is
he's quick.
Yeah, he's real quick.
Yeah.
In fact, although it just got released November 2nd, I think, he's already negotiating a re-release on another label. And it would be the first time it's released on CD. So he's already working on another 20 minutes worth of material for this possible CD release. I mean, it's happening fast. It's happening real fast.
Gotcha.
Iceland seems to have a real cool electronic music scene. Are you familiar with Mick Chillage?
I've heard of that. I've heard that name. I can't necessarily tie it to anything specifically, but I remember hearing that name, and I know there's a couple more. They're not jumping off the top of my head right now, but there's another couple of Icelandic composers that. Oh, wait a minute. Was Johansson Icelandic or was that Swedish?
You know, I couldn't answer the question, but I know who that is.
Yeah.
But what's interesting here is by connecting with Futuregrapher and by doing this release, I'm kind of, it's kind of giving me a view into this cool electronic Icelandic underground scene, and it's really great. I'm really enjoying myself.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, Eric, let's go ahead and play let's play another track from Effects on Clouds. I think this one is going to be, I think I want to do Find Me. That's another great track.
Oh yeah, that's how this is how the record ends actually with this track.
Oh, okay. We're going to give that a play, and then when we come back, Eric, I want to talk a little bit about that hybrid orchestra stuff that we were talking about before.
Oh yeah, please.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm looking for some suggestions.
Yeah, definitely. So this is Find Me from the Effects of Clouds album by Futuregrapher and Eric the Tailor. All right, guys, we're muted from the stream.
Okay, cool.
So what we'll do, Eric, is we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit about that hybrid stuff, and I'll mix in one of the tracks probably from my album Dawn.
Okay, great.
And then we'll jump back and play Duran after that one.
Duran. Think about Duran.
Yeah, Duran. Isn't that what I said that time? It could be my southern accent.
It's real thick, but
I'll be right back while this is
All right,
playing. I'm
Brandon.
gonna run to the restroom and stuff.
hey, B. Oh, are you gone?
Yeah, he took his ears off. He's going to the restroom real quick.
All right, that's cool. Am I screaming?
No, you're fine. You're fine. Well, I hope you're enjoying this.
Yeah. Well, I'm nervous. Like.
No, I get it, dude. I get it. You'll probably watch it later. What was that again?
It's going to take me a while. Right? Yeah, I'm going to share the link. I'm going to push it. I'm not going to watch it for like a month. I know how stupid I look.
Oh no, dude. But I get that. You'll look at it and you'll go like, ah, you know.
Oh yeah.
I do that every single time I do this.
Oh yeah.
But I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with it. I'm going like, dude, it's not like this isn't how people see me. You know, it's just being unaccustomed to watching yourself. Just like, you know, being unaccustomed to hearing yourself in recorded form, because, you know, the way you hear yourself is not the right way that people hear you anyway.
I would often like go and check out your live streams when you're working on music.
Mm-hmm.
And I often wanted to do that.
You should.
I'll tell you what happens for me, Keith.
Okay.
I'm gonna forget I'm streaming. I'm gonna take my pants off.
That's why you always
my
keep.
fucking phone. you know, stuff like that. Like I'll start changing the baby on the table. You know.
That's why. That's why you always keep your webcam covered up with a towel, and you only take that towel off when you want to stream.
I see. Yeah, because I'll still forget.
And you'll still.
Don't you ever forget that you're like in the middle of an edit and you're like, oh yeah, I'm live.
I do that sometimes. Yeah. I definitely do.
I can't afford that. It would be bad. unpleasant. I'd get a Facebook. So there's something wrong. My messenger did not load on my iPad. I think I'm gonna have to throw it off and I'm gonna have to reload it.
One thing I'm trying to adjust, if it makes you feel any better, is I have noticed I'm constantly putting my hands on my face, and it's just something I've always done. I've just never noticed about it because my line of work, I'm constantly thinking, so I'm constantly putting my head down into one of my hands and thinking through things, right? But it's not that it's a real issue, but when I'm broadcasting, do people really want to see me with my hand halfway covering my face, or scratching my arm? Just little weird things that I look at and go like, oh man, people are watching me do that. It probably doesn't bother anybody, but just little twitches or
that's why I won't do it. I think I've thought about it to break lengths, and eventually I feel like it's a step I have to take.
Right.
But I think I'm going to put little post-it notes like all over the place.
One says, "Don't pick your nose."
Right. It's going to be bad.
You'll be fine. Let's see here. Let's see if we're coming. I think we're getting near the end of this track. And all right, Eric, we are about to switch us back over to live, okay?
Yeah, do it.
Very nice piece, Eric.
Thank you.
Good job on that one. We lost Brandon during the break there, or during the song, but he'll be back.
Good
job on that one. So Eric and I were talking a little bit about
lost Brandon during the break there.
Instruments
The song, but
and hardware versus
so Eric
virtual, etc. I've moved into mainly a lot of virtual instruments here lately. Brandon, you can't bring dinner and not bring enough for everyone.
Yeah,
This is half of a meatloaf. I'm sure there's plenty for you guys.
Lately. Brandon, you can't
But
not bring enough.
I'm doing. There's some work that I'm working on right now that I can't talk about in too much detail, but the news is coming over the next couple of months. But
I'm doing.
The reason why I bring that up is I'm utilizing a lot of things from the Complete Control set of libraries that I recently upgraded again this year to their ultimate package, so I could get their high-end symphony series and stuff like that. But I'm going all over the place. But the point is I've moved into using a lot more virtual instruments simply because of those sound libraries and having that hybrid orchestral sound. And some of the more recent albums that I've released, I've been using those more and more. Namely, for instance, this my latest album, Dawn, which was based off the first book in the Lilith's Brood trilogy by the late Octavia E. Butler. So what I thought we would do, guys, is here in just a minute, I'm going to play a track from that CD and talk about that a little bit. And then we're going to come back and play a final track from the Effects of Clouds album with Eric Taylor and Futuregrapher. But the reason I'm bringing that up is we've kind of gone into this weird state where I don't want to say it's anything recent, but a lot of people can produce music without hardly anything, just their own laptop, right? And enough memory and a large sound library. So any Tom, Dick, or Harry can do it, but it still takes a lot of talent to put that stuff together, right?
Sure.
I could not do the kind of music that I'm doing without a physical controller. That I put some music together where it was just completely digital, using a mouse and staffing everything out, and it was a real pain in the butt, right? I think if I had a digipad with a digital pen to staff out everything myself like that, it would have been a lot easier. But I've done it by mouse. But people will construct loops or prepackaged loops and stuff like that, and some of it, sure, it sounds fine, but it doesn't sound like anything that you haven't heard before. So, but it takes a lot of work to really craft and add that finesse to what you're working on. But I'm really going off on a tangent is what I'm doing. But but if the time is taken, you can really create some amazing things. And I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play the this is kind of the end credits track on the album Dawn, called Learn and Run, which kind of takes a lot of what you hear throughout the album and kind of puts a nice little bow on it at the end. So we're going to give that a listen, and then we're going to come back and talk with Eric just a little bit more and play another track from the Effects on Clouds album, and we will be back momentarily, guys. All right, guys, we're muted from the stream.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see here. Let's see here. All right, when we come back, Eric, definitely want to talk a little bit more about, let's remind everybody about getting in contact with you for those.
Yeah, the giveaways.
The giveaways. Let me make sure I get that back in here.
Yeah, push that the whole show.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I can't get Messenger to work. I wonder if I bet you have to. I'm going to shut off my iPad and reboot.
Okay.
It's the weirdest thing. Yeah, so for me, Keith, it's like a really great sound can be a jump off for like a new ambient piece.
Oh yeah.
So I'm always searching for new sounds, and like you mentioned earlier, the virtual world is an easy way to just come into some crazy sounds and fairly quickly.
Yeah, definitely. You've probably been way too busy the past month with a new kid, Eric, to probably go to the show. But are you a fan of the Harry Potter movies or the Fantastic Beasts movies?
I'm not, which I know I should be. I'm more of a science fiction guy.
Okay. I am not a Harry Potter fan. I've tried to watch them with my wife twice all the way through, and I just haven't got into them. But I really got into the Fantastic Beasts movies, and I think it's simply because of Eddie Redmayne, who's the lead actor in it. And I've discovered it's not that I'm into the wizarding world. It's I'm into this actor. So,
that's cool.
That's the movie we're going to talk about after we finish up the music here in a bit.
Okay.
And we don't spoil anything, so.
I wish you could talk about the film score you're doing. That'd been cool.
In about a month or two, when I can actually say something about it, oh yeah, I'll be talking about it. It's a short piece. It's only like a 15-minute short film, but it's still just very cool to kind of be working on that.
Yeah, that is cool.
And before I forget too, Eric, if you would like, make sure I get your mailing address, and I'll send you a couple of autographed coasters. So if you're interested.
Yeah, that's cool. But do you ever meet up with Brendan?
What was that? One more time?
Do you ever meet up with Brendan?
I do actually. Yeah. Pretty much on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Can I get them both? Oh yeah. So you guys can both sign them.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll get Brandon to sign it.
Yeah, I'll sign it for you.
Okay, cool.
Mine's gonna be a very crappy signature though. It's just gonna look like a little heart pulse on there. That's all I do. Just bam, just done.
Yeah, we will totally get that done.
Explain it to people. But I'll keep it in the studio.
Absolutely, that would be awesome. I think this song is getting near the end. I should know when my song is getting near the end, but it's not like you said, Eric, earlier. It's not like you don't listen to these things 100 times over, and you're finally like, okay, I'm done. The weather, dude.
Yeah, I guess my eyes just keep getting really, really dry. Might have to go and see if I've got any.
All right, we're going back. All right, song is over. Hold on, guys. Here we go. And. All right, that was Learn and Run from the album Dawn.
Nice.
That's probably a good example of that kind of hybrid sound where there's some orchestral pieces and mixed in with some ambient pads and stuff. But yeah, but back to Eric. So I believe you were mentioning earlier, Eric, you've got a lot of things coming out over the next year. You got a follow up to the Fragile Fate at some point. Did I hear you say some more Architects of Existence work, or?
Yeah, that's a project with Mick Chillage, and this will be our second release, and
that's why it was familiar when we were talking earlier.
Yeah. And that's coming out on Carpe Sonum as well. And we're in talks of starting the third record now. Mick just actually got married, so he's on a honeymoon. Actually in Iceland, currently, back home.
Cool.
Yeah. So I got this other project that's coming out on Carpe Sonum. Pretty much releases most of what I've been doing. Great label, by the way. Resilience is with Simon Matthews, and we finished a first record, and that's scheduled for 2019. And then we're in the process of writing a follow-up now. And that's a great project. Simon is a very talented musician, artist. You should definitely look him up, Simon Matthews. He goes by Psy, S-I.
S-I? Okay.
Yeah, but he's just a really great person, and it's been a pleasure working with him.
Simon Matthews, did you say?
Simon Matthews, yeah.
All right.
Real cool dude.
I will definitely check that out.
I'm really excited about that record coming out. And that project is called Resilience.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, real happening.
Cool.
Project. Very pleased.
Well, I'll tell you what, Eric, let's go ahead and cue up Duran.
Oh, yeah. Look, let me tell you a little bit about this piece.
Yeah, please do.
I'm here in Rochester, New York. I'm in upstate New York. And not too far from me is this beautiful park called Durand. And I kind of wrote the piece trying to like visualize this park, which is right on Lake Ontario. And I sent the piece to Futuregrapher, who then actually added the field recordings of the kids playing, and it worked out really well because it sounds like the park.
Right.
So it's one of my favorites on the record, Effects of Clouds as well.
Well, I'm glad I chose it for you then. So, tell you what, guys, we're gonna give that a listen. And Eric, if you can hang out after that, we'll talk a little bit about Brandon and I will do our Did It Suck review for the latest Fantastic Beasts movies. And but I want everybody to be sure to let me make sure we get that URL pasted in here again. So everybody be sure to reach out to Eric. He's got some free download codes for you for the Effects of Clouds album, which is we're going to listen to this track Durand from right now. We'll give that a listen. We'll be right back, and we'll talk a little bit about some Fantastic Beasts. How's that sound, guys?
Sounds good.
All right, here we go. All right, we're muted from the stream, guys.
All right, good. So tell me a little bit about the movie, because I have no idea what you're about to talk about.
So, this is the wrong person to explain it, but I'm going to try, right? So you had Harry Potter and all of those movies that came out based on the books, which is about a bunch of kids learning to be wizards. Okay? The Fantastic Beasts movies and books are like a prequel to those events. I think that's really all I can really say about it. So the main star of the movie, I think, is Newt Scamander. Am I saying it right?
Scamander or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And he helps these strange animals, the kind of orphaned animals, I guess. And during the process, they learn of some dark deeds going. I'm horribly explaining this movie, aren't I?
He helps, best way to explain it is mythological creatures that the first movie, his whole goal was to come to America and go to Arizona and release a Thunderbird.
Oh, that's right.
So the Indian Thunderbird, the one that when it appears, it creates rain and all that stuff, signifies danger and stuff like that. That was his whole goal for that movie, but then he gets dragged into other events that unfold into a bigger story plot that leads to this movie. So he goes around and people that chain up mythical creatures and stuff like that, he goes and busts them out and tries to take care of them and show them that not everybody is evil. And that's the best way to explain it, is he's like a zoologist is the best way to explain it.
Yeah, that's probably a better way to explain. Excuse me, guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of gets drug into events because of that.
Okay. Yeah, I just haven't seen it, so I don't know.
Yeah. It's a good movie. I liked it. But it's just weird not really getting that into those other movies. But then, like I said, I think it's just this actor. I've got high praise for him in just about everything that he's done. And I first became aware of him in his portrayal of Stephen Hawking in The Theory of Everything, which is a great movie if you've never seen that.
I'm not a real big movie buff.
No?
No.
Understood.
I just saw Solo.
Oh yeah? What'd you think of that?
I didn't think it was that bad. I'm going to give it 7.5.
Yeah, I liked it. I really did. I think it got a bad rap from
Force Awakens.
yeah, The Force Awakens. No, not The Force Awakens, from The Last Jedi.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I heard that was horrible.
It was.
It wasn't that bad.
When we talked about it, when B and I talked about The Last Jedi, I had to empty the F-bomb bank. So
Wasn't that bad. Could have been
no, it was
worse.
horrible. It was trash.
It could have been prequels.
Oh, it could have been the prequels, yeah.
Yeah.
You forget, I grew up through the prequels. Anything
They
that
were-
Disney puts out now is basically gold compared to prequels.
Yeah.
They were an abomination. All right, I think this song's getting to the end, maybe? Let's see here.
Did you hear they're going to do a standalone Jar Jar Binks movie?
I hate you, Brandon. Because I know you're lying. Those are killing words.
But how upset would you be if they actually did it?
I don't care. People can go throw their money away on that shit any day they want.
It would be terrible.
My oldest daughter likes Jar Jar Binks too, and I'm like, I'm gonna disown you, child. See, that's what you get to look forward to, Eric, when your child, and Sophie, I believe is her name, correct?
Yeah.
When Sophie gets to be 16 years old, and the hell that you're gonna go through, but you're gonna love every minute of it.
Wait, that little love every minute of, was that like some kind of like a legal clause you had to throw in there at the tail end? 'Cause I-
Exactly.
that's not.
That's exactly it.
I'm gonna be like 60 years old. I'm gonna be like, go ahead, do it. Whatever.
With your cane.
With my cane. With my cane, my eye patch, my hearing aids. Yeah,
Oh man.
it'd be brutal.
I think we're getting near the end of this one now. Let's see here. Yeah, I do like how he kind of mixed in the laughter of the children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hadn't even discussed the piece. I didn't tell him that it was like Durand is a park near me.
Yeah, you did. Right before the song, you did.
Oh, I didn't tell Futuregrapher before he added the field report.
Oh! Okay. Gotcha. All right, hang on one second, guys. I think getting near the end. Think it's got a slow fade out. Oh, looks like it's over now. Okay. Here we go, guys. We're about to go live, and we're going. All right, that was Durand. Really awesome. Well, Eric, man, I really appreciate you coming on with us and letting us play some of your music to everyone.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Keith.
Yeah, you
Thanks
bet.
a lot, Brandon.
No problem.
And if you can stick around, would love to have you stick around as long as you like.
Sure,
But
I'm here.
cool. Well, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna move into our "Did It Suck" segment, and so basically, Eric, what we do is Brandon and I. Well, let me back up a little bit. Let me give Eric a little bit of history on this, Brandon.
Okay.
So everybody and their dog has a movie review channel now, right? They're a dime a dozen all over YouTube. And it was never my intention to do like movie reviews, right? But I do like going to the theater, and I like going and seeing movies. My wife and I, it's a passion of ours. We pay that overpriced popcorn, right? But we love going to the movies, and we see a lot of great movies, and we see a lot of bad movies.
Okay.
So there's part of it. The other thing is people that really know me know that I never say whether, for the most part, I never say I liked something or I thought it was great or it was horrible. I have these inflections of suck. So something is somewhere along the path of suckage or not suckage. For example, if you ask me if I like Brussels sprouts, I'm like, you know what, dude, they do not suck. Or if it was 15 years ago and you were to ask me if I like Brussels sprouts, it would be like, dude, those things suck.
Yeah.
Right. So, and people would see me post on Facebook about, you know, certain movies that I've seen and this, that, and the other. And somebody said I should do, you know, movie review videos. Right. But I've told them, I'm like, those are a dime a dozen. Everybody's doing them. And I think it was actually Brandon.
Yeah.
Who basically told me, no, you do it, but you never give it a grade. It's always just an inflection of suck, right? Did it suck or not? So we started doing that as a separate segment or a separate video series. And then I kind of changed up how the show is and where it's mainly, you know, music and musical guests. And then we have this section, that, and the other. So we kind of merged it into this. So with that said, B and I went to go see the new Fantastic Beasts movie, which was Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald. See, I can't even pronounce it right.
Grindelwald?
Grindelwald. So, we went and saw that this past weekend. And I have to preface this with, I have seen the Harry Potter movies for the most part all the way through at least twice. And by seeing the Harry Potter movies, what I mean is they were displayed on a screen that my eyes may have looked at occasionally. If that's saying it nicely, right? I'm not saying they're horrible movies. I'm not saying the books that they were based on were horrible books or anything like that, or they were suck. You know, they sucked. I just never got into them. As much as other people have, right? And it for me, it's not that they're horrible movies or the source material is horrible. It's just I just never got into them as much as I think certain people would have liked me to. Okay, so you have those Harry Potter movies, and then you have J.K. Rowling wrote the Fantastic Beasts book, and then the first movie. For whatever reason, well, I don't know why I'm saying for whatever reason. I know the reason, right? But I really love the first Fantastic Beasts movie. And it totally did not suck. And for this one, I'm going to have to say, you know, it really didn't suck. It was pretty damn good. But it had some issues, I'm not going to detail what those issues are, but I'll talk about it in a minute. But the more I think about it, it's something that I already knew. But the reason why I, you know, thought it was as good as it is, Brandon, is simply because you know that I'm a big fan of Eddie Redmayne. And I keep trying to tell myself, if he was not the star of this movie, if it was just somebody else, I don't know if I would have liked it as much. But before I continue down my path of my love of Eddie Redmayne and the suckage or non-suckage of the movie itself, what were your thoughts?
I mean, I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. I mainly like it just because of all the monsters, like the creatures and stuff. I think those are really neat to see.
Okay.
Like there was the giant like cat dragon thing. That thing was really cool.
No spoilers.
It was in the trailer, I think, maybe.
Oh yeah, okay.
But I mean, you know, they do really good like visual effects for the monsters, and you know, I really enjoyed that aspect of it. My main complaint is the story was kind of
Okay.
to me. It it didn't really feel like anything happened. Like it felt really like they go here, then they go here, then this happens, and then they go here, and then oh, it's the end of the movie, and you're like,
Are you? Sorry. Do you see what's going on in Facebook chat, Brandon?
no, I don't.
All right.
Let me check it.
Um,
Do I need to see? Am I about to?
it's no. You continue on with your discussion.
Okay.
I'll deal with this heckler in the audience in just a minute.
I mean, the first movie was really good. I really enjoyed the first movie, like a lot. But this one, I don't know. Like I said, it just felt kind of.
Okay.
Like I said, the story just felt really dragged out and just didn't feel. Just didn't feel like it went anywhere. Like it felt like it was dragged out just to get to like from point A to point B,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't really care for that. Like I felt kind of bored through most of the movie.
So would you say it kind of sucked?
I'm gonna say it didn't suck.
I'm not ignoring you, woman. Sorry, guys. I had to throw that out there real quick because I'm trying not to type on my keyboard because it's a mechanical keyboard. And I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to focus on what you're saying, Brandon.
No,
what you are
I
saying is
don't
very
think it
important
sucks.
right
Like,
now.
I don't think it was like enough to give it a like terrible sucky review or anything, but it in my opinion it just felt kind of meh for story wise. Like visually though, everything was really well done. Like visually pleasing and everything, but just
Do you want to see our heckler beat me up with
I'm
a
ready.
comment I'm about to
I'm
drop?
ready.
No, I'm not going to do it. I was about to say Harry Potter sucks, but you know.
But it's not Harry Potter, so it's okay.
I know, but you know, this was not Harry Potter. Thank God it wasn't Harry Potter, but it is Harry Potter world, whatever, you know.
It's
But,
pre-Potter.
It's pre-Potter. It's pre-Potter. That does not sound right. Pre-Potter.
It's pre-Potter.
It's pre.
No, but I honestly want to actually go back and rewatch the Harry Potter movies now. I think I'll have a better appreciation for them simply because I'm sorry. So Eric Taylor, Eric can't see what's going on in the Facebook chat right now, but my wife is giving me grief.
I see.
Oh, okay, he sees it now. All right. So but it because of my appreciation for Eddie Redmayne and what he has done, which makes me appreciate the Fantastic Beasts movies. I think I really do actually want to watch the Harry Potter movies from the beginning, you know, with a different perspective on them. Because that was my whole thing is I honestly, the kids just did not entertain me, right? I really didn't care. Oh, what's his name? What's his name? I should know his name. The guy that portrays Harry Potter, right? The missus will know. She'll point it out here in just a minute. But we've watched a couple of other movies that he's done since the Harry Potter movies, and I've loved them. I think he's a great actor. But at the time when those movies came out, I just didn't appreciate it. But Fantastic Beasts, I had a different view than you did on it. There were some pacing issues. There were definitely there were a lot of things that they were trying. Thank you, Eric Shups, Daniel Radcliffe. My wife was too busy trying to throw food in my face that she couldn't tell me who the actor was. So I really appreciate that, Mr. Shups. Where was I? See, I lost my train of thought. Did I ever really have a train of thought? Shoot, where was I? They had a lot of things that they were trying to cover in this movie that I think that they tried to cram too much in. That's really my only problem with it, right? I didn't really have an issue with anything else. So some of the pacing, but I still enjoyed it very much. I'd go see it again. Yeah, pacing. Yeah, definitely pacing. Did you go see it, Eric, or did you see it on the flight home, Mr. Shups? Not Eric Taylor, but Eric Shups. Because he's mentioning something in chat. I got to remember when I say Eric, I need to clarify right now.
Yeah, please.
But overall, I enjoyed it. I would go see it again. It didn't suck. But as far as Brandon is concerned, it kind of sucked, you know. But tell you what, gentlemen, I babbled on enough about my love of Eddie Redmayne and my hatred for Daniel Radcliffe.
Can I say one thing about
Oh,
Eddie
yeah, of
Redmayne?
course.
Okay, so in the movies,
Which ones?
Both Fantastic Beasts movies.
Okay. All right.
Is it just me, or does he look like he's about to fall asleep in every scene?
You mean Eddie Redmayne?
Yes.
This thing that he's got going on?
Yeah, where he's just like staring off awkwardly into space, but he looks like he's also about to pass out, like at any moment.
You know, I've seen interviews with the guy, and he doesn't do that in real life.
Right,
But-
I think he's doing it because
But
the character is like kind
every
of quirky.
character he's done that a lot. So I don't know.
I think it might just be with that character kind of being quirky and like not really socially awkward is the best way to explain it.
Okay.
I
That
think
could be
that's kind of why he does it with that character. But I'm just saying, like when he does it, it makes him look like he's ready to lay down and get him a nap. he's like, all right, man, I'm gonna let this giant flying bird free, and I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna get me in bed, and I'm gonna take me a nap. He's just ready for it.
Okay then, Brandon.
He's got his nap time ready.
Nap time. Well, I tell you what, let's cue up some music here. I'm gonna play. I think I'm gonna play something from my Gunslinger album, and I'm trying to debate.
Dark Tower.
Yeah, my Dark Tower themed album, which I was supposed to work on the second one this year, and that did not happen.
Was it because the movie was so bad that you got discouraged from it?
No, it's because I had 2 or 3 other projects going on.
Oh,
like
yeah,
Eric,
yeah.
like Eric Taylor was saying, he's got like 4 or 5 coming out this next year, right, Eric Taylor?
Yeah.
And I've gotten myself involved where I've got like 4 different things going on. And I definitely want to start working on another one of the Dark Tower albums, but we'll have to see. But I think what I'm going to do is this is more of a
Keith,
yes, sir.
is it a dark? The title kind of leads me to believe like it's is this sort of a dark orchestrated record? Is it like a dark ambient? What's the theme?
A little bit of it, some kind of orchestral, a little bit. It's kind of a hybrid orchestral type album. It's what I call one of my original Notion picture soundtracks. So, and this is based off of the first book in the Stephen King Dark Tower series of books. So I create my own soundtrack to it, right? So it's a little bit of mix. Let's see here. How would I describe it? Some hybrid orchestra, some ambient, and then kind of teetering on kind of chill music in some aspects. So a little bit of mix of all of those. So I think what I'm going to do is the track that I'm going to play is called There Are Other Worlds Than These. That's it's probably a good 5 or 6 minute track that'll allow me to give that a spin. Everybody needs to take a moment, and I'm going to go see what my wife needs because she's heckling me in the chat. But we'll give that a listen, and Eric, Brandon, and I will be back here in just a few. All right, guys? All right, guys, we're muted from the stream. I will be right back.
All right, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Brandon, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Where is the chat room? What link should I be looking at?
I don't know which chat room. Like, he's got a chat room on Facebook. He's got one on YouTube. He's got one on Twitch, and Mixer. So I don't know which one you're wanting to check out.
Yeah, I don't know either. Okay, no problem.
How to? Yeah, I don't know how to do links or anything on this program that he has us talking to.
Apologies, gentlemen.
What chat room am I looking at, Keith?
What was that again?
What chat room are you in?
If you go to well, I can see all the chat rooms, right?
Okay.
But my wife was the heckling. Most people are chatting in the Facebook Live presentation right now. So if you go to, I can send you a direct link to it via email or Facebook, if that's what you would prefer.
Yeah, Facebook if you don't mind.
There we go. Facebook Messenger link coming your way.
Got it.
That's still going on. Okay. Brandon, we got this jalapeno bacon, and holy hell, it is good.
Oh, yeah? Next weekend, if you guys want to hang out, we should go to the jerky shop.
Yeah, we could do that. Next weekend. This coming weekend or the weekend after?
Whatever's good with you guys. You know, I ain't got nothing. Because you've got Faith this weekend, right?
No, I do not.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, whatever you guys want to do. Because I keep telling Kayla, because she's been wanting to go get those pickled sausages, and I keep telling her that they've got them over there. So I wanted to take her over there to let her check it out.
Okay. Probably Friday. I got to do some binary waste stuff.
Okay.
There, I got to get some stuff ready for Ray for that project.
Okay, sounds good.
Tomorrow night, I've got my users group meeting.
Yeah, I can't do anything tomorrow. I gotta take the mom to the doctor.
And then Wednesday night, I gotta get some things cooked up.
Yep.
And, but I think Saturday or Sunday, I could definitely free up. There's definitely I'd like to go see. Got big plans for Thanksgiving, Mr. Taylor?
Well, my sister's coming in from out of town. She's in Brooklyn, and she's married with 2 little kids. So they're gonna meet my little
Oh yeah.
Good. It'll be good. My mom will be joining us.
That'd be nice.
Up here, we have these supermarkets. Have you ever heard of Wegmans?
I actually have.
Yeah, they're real big now. So we can order our full-on Thanksgiving dinners right through to the pie and just go and pick it up and stick it in the oven. So we're going to try that this year.
Very cool.
Should be good. Yeah.
I think this song has ended, guys. We're about to go live again.
Yeah.
All right. So while that song was playing, everyone, I went to go deal with the heckling I was getting from the wife. I think she wanted me to just take a moment, while the song was playing and go collect some stuff from her, and it happened to be this jalapeno bacon. And no, I'm not going to eat it while we're streaming, but I will tell you, it is pretty damn good. Definitely does not suck. One thing that came to mind, Brandon, like you, Eric Taylor, and I were just discussing that I failed to mention to everyone, especially for everyone here in the States. It's obviously we've got Thanksgiving coming up Thursday, and
Yeah.
just going to be a small event for us. Just going to be me and the wife, and I think you're going to come over and hang out for a little bit, I believe, correct?
Yeah.
So, and we don't get too fancy. I cook a turkey, cook a ham, a couple of vegetables. I make my lemon pie. That's all I'm looking forward to. My ham and lemon pie. But it's definitely definitely a time I'm looking forward to. We went and did the shopping this afternoon, and we went in hungry, and that was a mistake. Because I'm going like, man, I just want to grab everything off the aisles and throw it in my face. I'm so hungry. But something did show up today that I want to talk about, Brandon. I haven't
What's
even told you about this. So I'm going to show it up on camera first, let Brandon take a look at it. And then I'll tell you what it is. Eric Taylor, I don't think he's able to watch right now. But let me know if you can see that, Brandon.
Is that that's the movie, right?
Yeah, the 4K version.
Ooh.
Special Collector's Edition.
What's it got in it?
We're going to do an unboxing.
All right, I'm ready. Let's do this.
So this was one of 3 things that was supposed to be coming to me. So what it is, Mr. Taylor, it is the 4K version of John Carpenter's The Fog, which is...
Oh, yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. One of my favorite movies. So this company called Zavvi, Zavvi, they had these 4K collector's versions of 3 or 4 of Carpenter's movies. The Fog was one of them. They Live and Escape from New York. I'm a huge Carpenter fan, if you can't tell from my backdrop on that wall. And the interesting thing is that I ordered those 3, and this was about a month and a half ago. And for whatever reason, they tried to do like a 30-cent charge for each order, and it failed, right? So I thought their whole payment system was all screwed up. So I'm like, I'm just not gonna bother with letting it go through there, and I'll find them somewhere else. So I never canceled the order because I was thinking it auto canceled, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then at the beginning of this month, all of a sudden 2 of them went through. So I'm like, I didn't change my card information. So I think they had a charge issue the week before, but long story short, one of them finally came. And so I've been really looking forward to it. I haven't even opened this yet, and I do have a problem with one of the things. Let me tell you what it contains, and I'll tell you the problem that I have, right? So it contains, obviously, the 4K version of The Fog, a poster, art cards, a booklet, and the soundtrack on CD, plus brand new bonus content, right? So my problem is there's a poster folded up in here. I hate folded posters. You know that scene from Twister? It's like roll the maps. You should roll your posters. A folded poster is just crap. But figured we'd open it up. Let's see how bad a shape this poster is, and I'm probably going to be watching this tonight before I go to sleep. After I ride my horse.
Yeah, you gotta ride your horse. Never forget.
Gotta ride my horse. All right, so let me kind of. It's going to be kind of hard to do. Oh, I can already tell you I do not like the packaging because I can't figure out an easy way. Oh, there we go. There it's slipping out. All right. So slide that out. We've got, like, that's the booklet, a little booklet along with it. Sit down for a minute and then open it up. Yep, there's that folded poster in here, and the discs are all loose. That's just awesome. Let me fix that real quick. So on all right, so let me kind of hold this up for you. On one side, we've got the 4K version, the Blu-ray version, and then on the other side, we've got bonus content and then the score on CD. The exterior part of this is nothing too fancy. It's just the lighthouse and Adrienne Barbeau's character. I'm trying to remember the name of the character. Steely. I keep wanting to say Steely Dan. That's not it. Stevie. That's her name from the movie. We've got some art cards here. See what we got. These are kind of cool. These will definitely be some decent fodder for decorations. But we got some stills from the movie. That's going to be my favorite, obviously. I know you have to wait like that 5-6 second delay, but it's basically the ghosts themselves. The priest holding the cross, and then the lighthouse itself. That's pretty cool. That does not suck. And let's slip back on there. Not gonna get back on there easily. All right, I'll just set that aside. And then obviously the poster they folded up, which really pisses me off. So I'm gonna have to deal with that. But that'll match my Escape from New York poster that showed up folded. If you remember that one, Brandon, from
Oh yeah.
You can kind of see it on. Get my finger pointed in the right direction here. On the wall there, that Escape from New York poster, which came completely folded and was really a pain in the ass. I hate it. But and then the booklet's got a lot of info about the movie inside of it. So, but I think it was 38 total was the total for this, and it doesn't suck, man. Definitely having it on 4K, which obviously I'm going to watch tonight. I'll fall asleep to it tonight. And when Escape from New York shows up, obviously we're going to have another watch party. We got a lot of stuff that we actually need to watch that we haven't watched yet, Brandon, that
Yeah.
I don't know when we're going to get caught up on. Maybe we can do some of that Thursday.
Maybe.
Because wasn't there there was something specific that we wanted to watch next here at the house. Can you remind me what that might be? We need to get that list together and that submission page.
I think we were talking about can't remember what it was. Honestly, I can't. I was gonna say I thought it was like us watching like The Thing and stuff like that, but I don't know.
There's been so many of them.
Yeah,
Dude, I could watch The Thing anytime. That is a great movie.
the remake.
John Carpenter's The Thing.
No, the Thing, not John Carpenter's The Thing. The Thing.
Hold on a minute. This is important. We need to make sure that we're clearly articulating and understanding each other here. If you're talking about the original black and white thing,
No.
okay.
I
Are
have
you
seen
talking
that
about the prequel bastardization that happened about 3 or 4 years ago?
Yes.
That's a piece of crap.
That movie was great. All the visual
No way.
effects. No, I'm just kidding. Story on it wasn't bad. I will say that. I actually
You're
didn't
trying
mind
to
the story.
trigger me. Yeah.
I actually didn't mind the story.
Yeah, the story wasn't horrible, but
See,
The problem-
even Joey agrees with me. He's like, it was awesome. The prequel, it was awesome.
well, if they would have stuck with doing the practical effects like they wanted to do and not
I
decided
know.
at the last minute to put this
It was
obviously half-assed
to
CGI
save
stuff.
money. It was
Yeah.
to save money. That's the whole issue. I think it would have been way better with practical effects as well.
hmm
But once again, the story itself was not terrible.
Right. So I know you're not a big movie guy, Eric Taylor,
Yeah,
but are you a fan of Carpenter's music work?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
I was fortunate enough to see him live a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I remember he toured for the first time maybe ever.
Yeah, ever. He's never toured before. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. That was definitely it was nice to meet him. And I hate to say it, but it's not like I'm putting him on a pedestal, right? Where he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But I was very anxious and nervous to meet him, right?
Sure.
And so I got the VIP package, right, to meet him, and I'm third or fourth in line, and I'm fine at that moment, right? I'm just fine, right? 2 or 3 people that were ahead of me go up to him, shake his hand, kind of meeting, stuff like that. I'm cool, it's great, I'm fine. And those scenes from movies where something's about to happen and everything like literally goes into slow motion for them. I swear to God, that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
It was my time to walk up and I'm like, I got this. And like, oh my God, time just slowed down. I walk up to him looking like an idiot, like, how you doing? So.
Oh, we all do it.
Yeah, it was a little tough.
Sure.
But
Now, Keith, what was his first film like? It was kind of some kind of a space spoof.
Yep. Dark Star.
Dark Star.
Yeah, that was his. I believe that was his film school film, or that was the film that he did either as he's finishing up his film stuff or immediately after he was done. I believe it was his school project, his film school project.
Incredible that was a school project.
Yeah, and that's right, because Assault on 13 was his first official feature film. After that, a little known fact, I don't know if you know this, but he directed a made-for-TV movie about Elvis starring Kurt Russell.
I might have known that.
Yeah, and Kurt Russell, I mean, it's been 30, 40 years since I've seen it, but I remember Kurt Russell doing a great job in that, portraying Elvis. But I've been a huge fan of his since I saw first 2 Halloween movies. I released a cover of one of his songs here recently, Chariots of Pumpkins from the Halloween 3 score. I should probably cue that up and give that one a play. It might not suck. But in fact, why don't we do that, guys? Let's I'm gonna cue that. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna cue that up. We're gonna play my cover of Chariots of Pumpkins from the Halloween 3 soundtrack. And we'll come back and probably talk for a few more minutes before we close this episode out. So let's give that a play, and Mr. Taylor, Brandon, and I will be back momentarily.
Yeah.
So let's give that
All right,
a play,
gentlemen.
and
That was great.
Mr. Taylor, Brandon, and I will.
Yeah, we'll come back from. Go ahead, Eric.
That
I'm
didn't
sorry.
suck. It didn't suck.
It didn't suck.
No, I don't think it did. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. After this is over, I'm gonna get a bite of this bacon real quick. After this is over, I want to make sure that we tell people again about your page, Eric.
Yeah, I'm not getting any heads.
Okay. Don't be surprised if they show up afterwards too,
Yeah.
because a lot of people will watch it in
That's fine.
non-live fashion. What was
Yeah,
it?
let people know. I mean, it's there's no, like, it's not going to end at the end of this live
Okay.
cast. Like, I'll honor them.
And usually what I do is probably tomorrow morning, I'll send out another link to the recorded version of the show, and I'll be sure to also include your page as well in that post.
Okay.
That way they can get it that way too.
Yeah, that's cool.
There was something I was about to say and I completely lost my train of thought.
Now's a good time.
Huh?
Now's a good time for that.
Yeah. I really want to get to the point where I can maybe move the show up a little earlier in the day. At some
What
point,
time
that'll...
is it for you now?
Huh?
8:30?
Yeah, 8:40. Yeah. I know it's getting late for you.
I think fine, but I think you're going to get more viewers after the fact.
Yeah.
Whenever people have their own time to view it.
Yeah, that happens a lot. So what I was doing is I was doing exclusively only to Facebook Live. But, dude, Facebook is not the platform for long-form video. Right? So then I started, when I started the show back up, I just went primarily onto YouTube. And then I found I was still cheating myself from not at least having it on Facebook for the casual viewer, right? So it goes to Twitch, it goes to Facebook, and it goes to YouTube. And then we've got a lot of choice there. And I do find quite a few people go back and watch it on YouTube at a later time. I know one guy that I work with specifically, he can never join on the Monday evening episode, but he starts listening to it via YouTube. So hopefully you'll get a few bites your way eventually there.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think we're getting near the end of this song. Come on now. Almost there. All right, guys, we're about to come back. All right. It's my cover of Chariots of Pumpkins from the Halloween 3 soundtrack, Season of the Witch. All right. That was a lot of fun to do too, Eric. I'd popped that guy open about once, spent about 5 minutes on it, 5 or 10 minutes on it over like 6 different years. Just never could get that sound I was looking for. And then finally some things kind of clicked and
That's nice. I love when that happens.
Yeah. That happens to you a lot, I'm sure, right? Where you have something and you'll work on it a little bit and you're like, just not clicking, right? And come back to
That's
it.
how I work. Like I'll have to
Yeah.
close it out, come back to it a week later, forget what it even sounds like, open it up, and then it all falls into place.
Yeah.
I'm
And
not
then you're
one of
like,
those guys that
oh,
will go from beginning to end.
right.
Oh yeah, all the time.
It's like, oh, that's what I was going for with that. Or wait a minute, that wasn't what I was shooting for, but I like that sound. but
Yeah. Oh, all the time. I'll open stuff up again and be like, oh, what is this?
right.
You know, and then whatever problems I might have had with it, that stuff is all forgotten.
Right.
And so, so sometimes like I'll close out a piece and be like, I just can't listen to that anymore. I don't know where I'm going with that. And then I can open it back up a week later and be like, oh, it's done.
Right.
So, it all depends on my mental state, I suppose.
Well, I'll tell you what people can do if they want a sampling of some of that work that you've worked on is to be sure to for them to reach out to you via your Facebook page, which I just pasted in chat on Facebook, and get them one of those download codes that you're offering for your album.
Effects of Clouds.
What was that again?
Effects of Clouds.
Effects of Clouds with
Future
Grapher.
Yeah. Please, guys, hit me up. I've got some download codes. I want to give this stuff to you.
Yeah, definitely, guys. Check that out. It's good stuff. But I tell you what we're going to do, guys. I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to play one last song to kind of close it out and bring the show to a close. But once again, I want to thank you a lot, Eric, for joining the show tonight. For those of you who don't know, Eric and I actually had kind of tried to arrange a couple of weeks ago to have him on the show, and I had some scheduling conflicts, but it turns out, Eric was a little bit busy himself. So congratulations on the birth of your daughter and all of that. But I'm going to pick a song to close us out with, and I'm trying to think here, Brandon. Brandon, give me a suggestion, sir. I know you got some favorites of yours, don't you? You know what? Actually, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to play
Binary Waste.
You want to hear Binary Waste to close it out?
Yeah.
All right. We can do that. So, Eric, Binary Waste is, I think we mentioned it a little bit, is a kind of a side band project that I got going on with a gentleman by the name of Ray Clay on guitar, and is definitely some harder material. But yeah, I agree with that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play our debut single, Cypher, for everyone. I'm going to give that a play and kind of end out the show on a harder note today. But Brandon, thank you for being here as well, sir. Mr. Taylor, thank you for joining.
Yeah.
And next week, it may be another solo week. I've got a couple of different guests that I'm working through and getting scheduled and making sure that I don't have a conflict of myself again and have to reschedule. But as soon as I have somebody lined up, I'll be sure to let you guys know. But if you're in the States and you celebrate Thanksgiving, we hope you have a wonderful holiday. And otherwise, we will see you guys next week. All right, guys, we're muted. But yeah, Eric, thank you so much for joining, man. Really
I
appreciate
had a lot of
it.
fun, you guys. I appreciate your time.
Well, we'll have to have you back on again in the future, and we can see the progression of the growth of your daughter. That'll be a nice surprise. And let me know. What was that? Go ahead.
I'm thinking maybe about the time some of these other records are released.
That's exactly what I was about to say. That's exactly what I was about to say. When you got another one ready, let me know, and we'll try to schedule it around the release date, or shortly after. But
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Cool. All right, buddy. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting here and get this thing queued up to end for the outro. But once again, thank you. I will get you a link to the recorded show. I'll tag you in it in the morning once I put all that information together, and that way you can share it out to your folks. Okay.
Yeah, I certainly will. Thank you. And bye, Brendan. Thanks for your time, bud.
Yeah, no problem, man.
All right. We will talk at you guys later. Bye now.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.